It's basically a journey, a chronicle of my journey with lupus and kidney failure. And the theme of today is I became new. And indeed, with the grace of God, I was really given a new life, a second chance in life. Let me share with you. So 2 years ago, I was interviewed in the Straits Times. Okay, this is my family, okay, and it's still there. Just Google Aaron Tay Straits Times, and you can see the article right there. So when I was a boy, like many of us, we grew up with a lot of dreams. So I was a very dreamy and carefree boy. However, at the age of 8 years old, very young, one day I felt my legs were swelling. And when I was urinating, I felt a burning sensation. So my mom, who was a nurse, felt something was amiss, bring me to the Chinese sensei and saw a specialist, and I was diagnosed with chronic kidney disease at a young age of 8 years old. And every day I have to take a cocktail of medicines, prednisolone, steroids, high blood medicine, high cholesterol medicine, calcium tablets. It's like an aged person having to take a lot of medications. At young age of 8 years old, this was my medication I had to take. And the bill every month was about $1,000. My parents had no choice but to pay for the kidney and life. So I was fortunate enough to be enrolled in St. Andrew's School, which is a mission school. And I received Jesus Christ in my life when I was in one of the evangelistic meetings. And I was 14 years old. And then I've been worshipping in a Renewal Christian Church. But I never really knew God in my heart or in my experience. I only knew God in my brain, okay, cerebrally. And to me, church, like young people, was like a social club. And my health, I just coped with it. I just managed to cope with it. But however, I had a very competitive spirit because I was inferior. My father was, like most Asian parents, passive. And knowing I had this kidney problem, he didn't know what to do. And for me, I felt that I didn't have that encouragement, right? And I grew up with a very deep inferiority complex that led me to invest myself in my studies. Like what the skit just now has shown, right? My self-worth came from my grades. My self-worth came from my success. And my self-worth came from the amount of money I have. So I grew up, I coped with my disease, and I studied very hard and I managed to get into NUS. This was my prom night when I was 18 years old. And I served 2 years army, I had to go to NUS to study pharmacy. Right? So in my first year in my pharmaceutical studies, I felt that I had everything. I felt that I had good career prospects. I was going to be a pharmacist, right? And I had a girlfriend then of 3 years, very steady relationship. Okay, and then I drove my dad's car around. I felt that I had lived that life, okay? And I became proud. I felt that all this was achieved was by my own achievements. God stopped me in my tracks. And at 21 years old, my relationship with my girlfriend of 3 years failed. I went into clinical depression. My lupus is basically the autoimmune disease that attacked my kidneys. Rather than seeing foreign invaders to attack them, they attack my own kidneys. That's why I have this kidney issue. So at 21 years old, I was asked to leave school. The doctor advised me to leave school. Why? Because I couldn't take the stress of school. So I actually left school, and then I was bedridden in the hospital for 1 month. The doctor said my kidneys will fail in 6 months' time. Right? And when I was in the hospital, right, I was in clinical depression. I wanted to commit suicide. Right? Because I once thought I had a good life, but now I'm in a hospital bed. My friends are pursuing their dreams, okay, and I'm stuck here. My future was bleak. I quit my studies, and I was just lying there for 1 month. And I realized that my life is actually mortal. Because I remember in the hospital, I was going to the toilet to take my bath, And when I was walking to the toilet, I saw this old lady lying there. Her kidneys had failed, and she couldn't have dialysis because she was too old. Her heart couldn't take it. And I remember 1 week, okay, the first day I was going past, her skin color was beige. After that, few days later, it became yellow. A few days later, when I saw the body, right, her skin color became green. And then the last few days, it became gray. And from there, I saw a person's life ebbing away. Right? When I was in the hospital, I saw it ebbing away. I felt that life is really mortal. One day, we'll all die. Right? So that actually changed me. Right? So this is actually me, right? Having this bloated moon face, we call it, right? And because of the medications, and I was just lying there with depression. But the turning point came. The turning point came when I started to write a journal. I started to write my thoughts, and I found that I have a lot of self-centered, negative thoughts in my mind. Okay? And then I did something that Linda in the skit did. She read the Psalms. And I read the Psalms. I remember in the hospital bed, I read the Psalms through and through. And the Psalms actually uplifted me of how King David, right, was in dire straits, but because God was with him, he managed to pick himself up. So with that, I picked myself up. I renewed my mind with God's truth. Right? And that's where I really had a deep encounter with our Lord Jesus. And Lord Jesus became real in my heart and in my spirit. And there was a time I commit everything to God. So, and because of that, my health actually took a good turn. Before that, when I was in clinical depression, the doctors gave me every medicine they could think of in the textbook. Okay? Whatever medicine you can think of. I even went for chemotherapy to suppress my immune system. But the chemotherapy didn't work, and the kidneys were just deteriorating, right? And my life was also almost in danger too. But because of when I commit my life to God, and I wrote the journal, and I renewed my mind with Psalms, my health took a better turn. And then my kidneys continued to be strong. And then I recovered. I was discharged from the hospital. Right? I found a new life in Christ. And then I reapplied to university. In short, I went to NTU. I studied, even though it was very tough, because I was severely anemic. I was always at fainting spells. And I remember in my final year in my university, one day I felt my ear I couldn't hear with my left ear. I went to see the doctor. The doctor said, I suspect that there is a tumor in your nose. Right? So he went and did a scope, right? And indeed, there was a tumor right deep in my left nasal channel. So I remember on my 23rd birthday, right, I had to go for an operation to take a biopsy to see whether it's cancerous. And I can tell you, the 2 weeks for waiting for the results, right? When you take the biopsy, and from the time you take the biopsy and then you wait for the results, that was torturous. The 2 weeks. But I couldn't do anything. I just cried out to God and say that, God, please help me. Please help me from this dark night. Okay? And then the result turned out that the lump wasn't cancerous, right? But it wasn't benign either. It was like somewhere in the middle, right? And the doctors recommended to cut me up. It means to cut here, remove my skin, part of my skull, and then to scrape the tumor out. Right? And the best case scenario is I will have a very big macho scar here. Right? But the worst case scenario is half my face will be paralyzed. Right? So I had to make a choice. Okay? But my renal doctor said, Aaron, don't do for operation. Okay? I think it's because of your medications. Your medications, long-term medications, maybe can cause this tumor. So I suggest one thing. Why not we remove the medicine and see if the tumor will subside? And if we remove the medicine, okay, your kidneys will fail completely, and you have to go for dialysis. So which one you want? You want the potential of cancer, or you want dialysis. You choose. Right? Say, only got these two choices. Cannot be healed and go for holiday. Right? So my family and I, after much deliberation, we chose kidney failure. Right? So I removed the medications, and true enough, in 9 months, right, my kidneys went to complete failure, and I had to be put on dialysis. Anyway, this is me, right, studying on my exams, right. So I remember when I was 24 years old, I was put on a dialysis machine. I remember the first dialysis I had, sitting down there, the big needle that poked into me, my blood vessel burst, and my whole left arm was swollen. Okay, but no choice. If you don't dialysis, you die. Right? So every alternate day, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, they pierce the needles into my arm, my swollen arm. Okay? And I have to be sit on this chair for 4 hours every session. 1 week, 3 times, 4 hours. I couldn't take it. Okay? The first time I had dialysis, right, to me, it's not like fever, to take Panadol and okay. Right? It's dialysis, that means it's lifelong. There is no cure. Your whole life will be hung on this machine, and you'll be in this machine. This machine will be your best buddy for life. So I couldn't imagine that prospect. So I remember that night, I just went on a fast. Not a spiritual fast, okay, but rather I don't want to eat anything. I just boycott my food. Okay, I just wanted to commit suicide. Okay, because I couldn't see my future. Okay. And at the time, I heard God, not an audible voice, but the impression of my heart, as I read through the Psalms. So whenever I was in the dark night of my soul, okay, I would read the Psalms, right? And I feel like God was speaking to me. He said that I hear Him impress my heart and say that, my son, all these things you are going through, right? Even though you don't know what's going on, I'm with you, and there is a purpose. Let me share with you, brothers and sisters, that phrase alone is enough for me to pick myself up and then to carry on living life. So I moved on, and I had to have dialysis every other day. And when I was graduated, I applied for a lot of jobs in various companies, but I couldn't. After first interview, second interview, I couldn't get a job. Okay, I don't know why. Maybe because of medical conditions. They never tell me the reason, right? So I decided to go on self-employment, right? So I became a financial consultant, right? And for 4 years, I had to build my clientele. Even though I feel very frail, my body, and I feel nauseous, giddy, but I still got to meet my clients and then build up my clientele from there. So 4 years I was in dialysis, and just to show you, right, what the effects of dialysis. Sherman asked me to do this, okay, so I got more drama. I'm not going to fling it out. Okay. So this is they call it the fistula, right? The fistula, where every other day they will poke the needle, which is the size of chopsticks, right? Okay, into this particular fistula. And after 4 years, right, it ballooned, okay, into the huge blood clot. And after 4 years, right, I thought that this was the worst. Really. What can be worse, right? Okay, one day I felt my heart beating irregularly. Okay, I went to see the doctor. The doctor said, why don't we go for the ECG, and then you go for the treadmill run and everything. And I did also an angiogram. Okay, poke the needle up my leg, see my channel on my heart. And they said that I have chronic heart failure. Okay? And at 28 years old, 4 years of dialysis, I was given 5 years left to live. 5 years left to live. Right? Because of the long-term dialysis, the 4 years is very close to my heart. This thing was very close to my heart. So I had 5 years left to live. And to me, at the time, I didn't think about my bank account, how much I have. I was driving a car, but I didn't think about my car. I didn't think about the good career success I had, building up my clientele. I think nothing of these things. The only thing I thought of was my family. At the time seemed to slow down. As every day I knew that I had just 5 years left to live. And I realized that when life was drawing to a close, for me, when life was drawing to a close, nothing else mattered except my family and where I'm going. That's to be reunited with God. So there was no hope for me, right, at the time. I wasn't on a waiting list. The reason is because I had a tumor in my nose that subsided, right, but because I wasn't past that, I wasn't out of the woods yet, so I wasn't on the waiting list. Okay, so I had no chance of having a waiting for a kidney, right? So there was no hope, just wait for 5 years, right? But my doctor said, okay, there is a little hope, okay, only if you have an emergency kidney transplant within the next 8 months. If after 8 months you don't have a kidney transplant, okay, you will never have the chance to have a transplant again. Because once the general anesthesia goes in your body, that's it, you won't wake up. Your heart will not be able to take it. Okay, because my heart was only functioning about 25% of heart function. 100%, 25%. So at the time, my brother, so this is my brother, right? It's like what the skit has shown. I think it's just divine that the skit portrayed the brother coming in to save Linda. My brother came in my life and saved me. Because he said, God, I've seen you suffer since young. Why not on your birthday, right? It was about October time, okay, 10 years ago. I give you a present. I'm not going to give you anything material, not your laptop, not your car, not whatever, not money. I'm going to give you my kidney. So 10 years ago, on 29 September 2008, I received the gift of life from my brother. An organ, a living organ from his body, okay, was taken from him, right, and then transplanted into my body. And I recall that when I woke up from the anesthesia, we were both very sleepy, right? And I overheard my brother, because NUH, I was in NUH, very crowded, not enough beds. So my brother said, give it to there was a bed waiting, okay? Then you want to give to my brother, right? Maybe because my brother more handsome. Okay. And he said, but my brother said, I can hear. I was just very blurry, right? I can just hear it. My brother said, give it to my brother first. He needs it more. Right? So from there, I felt the sacrificial love of my family, right? That really saved my life. And also the transplant, the operation, okay, was a very dangerous one because my heart was only functioning at 25%. So before I went for the operation, the heart doctor came to me and said, Aaron, you really want to go for the operation? You only have 50% chance of surviving. You only have 50% chance to wake up. You still want, you really want to go? Why not you wait for a while, right? So that the heart maybe can get better, then you can go for operation. Okay? But my renal doctor said, you better go. If not, you just wait any longer. Right? Later, you don't even have a chance to go for any operation. So when I closed my eyes, and for the GA anesthesia to put into my body, right, I knew that I had only 50% chance of waking up. Okay. At that time, I couldn't do anything. I could just commit my spirit to the Lord, like what Jesus said on the cross. Father, Father, now I commit to you my spirit. Okay. And I was ready to die. Right? But praise the Lord, I woke up. And I'm alive. And then I was very touched with my brother. And 2 weeks I was in the hospital. And then I was given, because my brother's love, I was given a new lease of life. My kidneys was working completely, or rather, his kidney was working completely well in me, right? And I'm able to do 2 things. Okay, and now, I can only do these 2 things, I'll be very grateful in life. Number 1, okay, I can drink water. Because the dialysis patient, you cannot drink water. You can only drink 500 ml of water every day. And number two, you cannot go to toilet because the machine spoiled already. Right? No, there's no urine to come out. Right? So after the kidney transplant, I thank God I can do two things. I can drink water. The first thing I did was to take one ice mountain, 1 liter, and I go to the bathroom and just taste the water. The water felt so sweet. And the second thing, I would thank God, is I can see my urine. It's such a beautiful sight. These two things, and now, when I do these two things, I'm grateful. I don't take things for granted. I can't take things for granted. God gave me this gift back, The good drink water and go to toilet. So when I had a new life, because my brother, I'm so touched by his noble act of love, but God has more in store for me. Well, when I was on the dialysis chair, I had plenty of time, 4 hours, nothing to do. I made some friends, right? And I made this beautiful lady called Sharon, who's seated over there. Right? Say hi again. And she was one of the nurses, okay? She was one of the nurses that's in the dialysis center, right? And by the grace of God, it's really by the grace of God. Yeah, she was willing to accept me and journey with me in my life. So 1 year after, this was where I proposed to her, right? Right in the hospital. So this me and the NUH hospital room. Right? Now it's much better. Okay? Yeah. Now it's like got TV and everything. So 1 year later, I took the courage. Okay, I proposed to her, and she said yes. Right, and we typed. We was united in holy matrimony 1 year later, and I really thank God that I felt the love of my family, from my brother, and I found true love by the grace of God. A woman who accepts me. Okay, and then after, when we get married, what do we want? Children, right? Okay. And then, well, we went to see the doctor. The doctor said, it's blank. What do you mean by blank? Okay. When I did the sperm test, right, my reproduction system was completely destroyed. Completely, because of the long-term medication. I remember at about 20 years old, when I had that clinical depression, they put chemotherapy into me, right? That completely destroyed my reproductive system, and I had 0 sperms. 0. Okay, at the time, I felt that I wasn't a man. I felt that my entire manhood was robbed mercilessly away from me. Okay, and then I lost hope. We couldn't have children. No sperm, how to have children? Not little sperm, 0. Right? How to have children? Right? Impossible. Okay, so I went to very sad for 2 weeks, and then I suddenly remembered. Okay, my doctor, or rather God, through my physician, okay, had the wisdom and foresight, okay, to store the remnant of my sperms at 20 years old, before the chemotherapy. Because they said that if you go for chemotherapy, you have no happy Father's Day. Right? So better store your sperm first. At the time, after the breakup, I was like, what do whatever you want. I want to start a family. Right? Okay? So I just followed. I just did it. Right? Forget the whole episode. Okay? Forget the whole episode. Okay? But I think still need to pay some storage fees. After 12 years, okay, I remember, hey, I still have some remnant offspring, right, in the freezer. Okay? So I went to accident with the doctor. The doctor said, yeah. Well, luckily you reminded me, okay, it's still in the freezer. Let's see whether they are still okay. They're still alive, okay? And then they defreeze it. Okay, thank God it's still swimming, okay? Right? Okay. And they use my sperm that was stored 12 years ago, right? Defreeze it, and they do IVF, okay? Intravital fertilization. And this is day one when they're at the embryonic stage, okay, under the microscope. And after 9 months of gestation, okay, my twin girl daughters are born. Then their names are Reza and Raquel. And now they are 6 years old. This one was taken like a few years ago, right? But the most updated one is I had another IVF, also through IVF, okay, and I had the third daughter. Right? So this is my family. And today, you ask me, okay, where do I base my self-worth on? It's never about career. I mean, money is important to support the family. Never about my career. Never about my riches. Not about my wealth. Not about material things. Not about my property. But rather, my self-worth is based on my relationship with God. My relationship with my wife. And my relationship with my children. My relationship with what matters the most. Because I can share with you that at the end of your life, nothing else matters. Only the family. And I just want to encourage you that no matter where you are in your life right now, okay, God has a beautiful plan for you. All you need to do is just to believe in Him, trust in Him, and commit your entire life to Him. God bless you, and I hope my story will encourage you. Thank you very much.